So as we all know, e4 is one of the most powerful openings as white. In this video, I am going to share the most powerful opening as black, and that is called the Pirc defense, which begins with the move d6. Alright, so as we all play d6, now we are allowing white to take the control over the center by playing d4. Now these highlighted squares are under white's control. Now we can easily play knight to f6 attacking the pawn. White must play knight to c3 in order to protect the pawn. But in the game, let us say if white pushes the pawn in order to attack the knight. Here we also takes attacking the knight again. Now first of all we exchange our queen, king takes it, and then we begin with knight to g4, attacking the pawn at f2 as well as attacking the pawn at e5. Now, as we all can find that f2 pawn is more important, create the attack over the rook by giving the check. So here, king goes to e1 and we win a pawn. Now the advantage is that we have won a pawn, we are ahead of pawn, as well as white has lost the ability of castling, so you can easily attack and can make your game better. So here we all studied for playing e5 in this position. Now what if white begins with knight to c3? Here the most popular move can be playing g6, bishop to g7 and to castle on the king side, which is the most popular move as black and it's the most popular idea, which white is also prepared against it. So let's look for white is it prepared for. Here we can play c6, also called the sex defense. Now clearly you can see that we have created an open diagonal for black. Let us say white plays knight to f3. Here we play queen to a5, and let us say white plays bishop to c4. Now do not forget that this is the pin because you can easily win the pawn. Alright, so let us say white has the idea for this pawn and a pin. So let's take an example. White plays bishop to d3, protecting the pawn. Here we can easily create a clash on the center. Takes. Now this pawn is under protected by the queen. So you don't need to scare for this pawn. And okay, let's take an example. Doesn't take the pawn. So simply it attack over the queen by playing bishop to d2. So easily we can see that this square c7 is safe square. So here we go to c7, pawn takes, v takes, and now this pawn is completely protected by. Alright, so let's take an example that in this position, black castle, extent of taking the pawn. So bishop goes to e7. Now we are preparing for castling on the king side. White plays x3, we castle, and we can safely play x6 and can stop all those pieces from attacking us. In this position, we all studied for playing knight to f3. Now let us study for another popular move that can be pawn to f4. Let us say we develop our queen. Now bishop to d3. Then we are going to create a clash over the center by playing e5. And now white is going to play knight to f3. So basically you can understand the point of white, that is that white want to create a knight behind the pawn, which can be a good point. Let us say here in this position we are going to play bishop to e7. Now this is a bad move because we are clearly going to lose the pawn. So in this position we must take one pawn. Also we are going to create a attack over the center. So you can consider this as a good move. Here knight takes the pawn and this position becomes quite easy. because we can easily develop our bishop and our knight. We can do long castling, or we can develop our bishop and can do short castling. This can be your choice, whatever you want to continue as per your opponent. Okay, so let's look for another move, that is bishop to g4, winning the knight. So this can be one of the most popular move because we are currently stopping this knight from taking the pawn. Otherwise, let us say we take it, knight takes, and then can easily lose the queen. So here white begins with bishop to e3 in order to protect the pawn. Now we begin with normal development, knight to d7, white castling. Now in this position, we can observe that our position becomes quite better than white's position. Alright, so let's look for the main lines of the Pirc defense, that is e4, d6, d4, knight to f6, and then knight to c3. Here, probably we can play c6. Rather than c6, we can also begin with another move, that is g6. Now let us say white begins with classical variation, that is knight to f10. Here we are going to play bishop to g7, creating the space for black to castle. Now let us say white begins with bishop to e2, quarter turn, castle, and then we are going to play c6. Now you all may know that white is probably going to play develop this bishop, but it doesn't develop the bishop, and instead it plays white bishop already has a space, so white doesn't catch for his bishop. So let us say in this position we are going to develop our bishop. White also develop the bishop by playing bishop to e3, protecting the pawn. Here we are going to play knight b to d7. Now white plays queen to d2 with the idea of taking the bishop to x6, and we are going to play queen to c7. Alright, so let's look for another variation that can be playing a5 naturally, and we can develop our bishop, our knight, and then our queen, and can easily attack on the queen side and can win the game. In this position, we all study playing knight to f3. Now let's just study another move, that is f4, also called the Austrian attack. Here we simply develop our bishop and white plays knight to f3, making the knight behind the pawn, which is a better idea. Actually, we can create a clash over this highlighted square by those two pawns as well as the knight. Here, let us say we castle, then white begins with move bishop to d3, protecting the pawn. We play knight to c6, and then the most powerful attack is going to be playing e5, because here we are simply attacking the knight as well as our position is going to be the first. How? Because if we take, then takes, then there's the control over the center as well as let us say if knight goes to g5, then knight is trapped, or if knight goes there, then the bishop is blocked. So in many ways, e5 can be the most popular move, and this may ruin your position. Let us say in this position, except for playing e5, it castles. Then we create the attack over the center by playing e5. Then f cross e5 takes, takes, and the knight takes. Now, if knight takes the knight, then it is going to be a huge blunder. How? Let us say it takes, then queen to d4 check, attacking the knight as well as giving the check. King goes to x1, and then we finally win the knight. Now you can calculate the number of pieces. Congratulations, your pieces are more than white, and hence you can easily win the game. Okay, so let's look for knight to f3. Here, after knight to f3, let us say, except for castling, we can also begin with c5, attacking the pawn. Let us say takes it. Then, if you think that taking the pawn could be a best move, then it is not a best move because let us say we take, then we take, and you lose your castling ability. So the best move comes playing queen to a5, as I told you, similar to sex variation. Here we are attacking the pawn, and let us say white plays bishop to d3, then it loses the pawn. Let us look for another variation that can be played as white, and that is playing bishop to e3. Here we begin with bishop to g7, developing the bishop, and we have made a space for black to castle. Here white plays queen to d2 and then black castles. Now white already has a space to do long castling. Here white begins with long castling. Now easily you can observe that white can easily push all those pawns and can attack the king side. No need to worry, just play normal. Here you can play c6 and can play b5, a5 and can attack by the attack the queen side. Here we begin with f3, b5, creating a control over the c4 square. And by using all these tricks and traps, you can easily win the game